In 1969, a fishing vessel was found drifting off a cold northern coast, engine idling, lights on, moving in slow circles because no one was at the wheel. A patrol boat pulled alongside and a man climbed aboard, and what he found has never been explained. 7 crew members were gone. Every lifeboat was still in place. And in the galley, 7 plates of food sat on the table, still warm, as if the men had stood up from dinner 1 second before he arrived. Stay with me, because the ship's log is where it stops making sense. The vessel was called the Aurora, a sturdy fishing boat with a crew of 7 experienced men, out for a 2-week haul in waters they knew. She was not due back for days when another boat spotted her, moving strangely, turning in a slow circle with no one visible on deck. They radioed her and got no answer. They pulled close and shouted and got no answer. And finally a man from the other boat climbed the rail and dropped onto the Aurora's deck, into a silence that he said, for the rest of his life, he had never been able to describe. The engine was running, idling, the wheel lashed loosely so the boat turned in its slow circle. The lights were on below. Everything was in order, which was the wrong kind of thing to find. The nets were stowed. The deck was clean. There was no damage, no sign of a wave taken over the side, no sign of fire or flood or struggle. And there were no men. He called out and searched the whole boat, and it took only minutes, because a fishing boat is not large, and he found no one, alive or otherwise. In the galley, the table was set for 7. 7 plates of food, a stew of some kind, sat at 7 places. And the food was warm. Not hot, not cold. Warm, the temperature food is a few minutes after it is served. 7 cups of coffee, poured, still faintly steaming in the cold cabin air. A chair was pushed back from the table. A cigarette, half-smoked, had burned down to a cylinder of ash balanced on the edge of a plate, which meant it had been set down and never picked up, which meant its owner had left in the middle of a smoke he had every intention of finishing. Every lifeboat and life raft was accounted for, stowed and secured. Whatever had taken the 7 men off the Aurora, they had not left by any means the ship carried. There were no other boats near her. The water was deep and very cold, cold enough that a man overboard would not last long, and 7 men do not go overboard at once, in the middle of dinner, without a sound, leaving their coffee steaming and their cigarettes burning. The log is the part that the investigators could never place. The captain of the Aurora had kept it faithfully, twice a day, position and weather and catch. The entries were normal until the last one, which was made, according to the times logged, only about 20 minutes before the boat was boarded. The final entry was not in the captain's usual steady hand. It was rushed, pressed hard into the page. It recorded the position, correctly. And then it recorded a single observation, which no other vessel in those waters that day reported, and which the sky and sea by every other account did not contain. The captain wrote that there was a light on the water off the starboard bow, coming closer, and that it was not another boat. And the entry ended mid-sentence, the pen dragging off the edge of the line, as if the hand writing it had stood up. They searched the sea for a week and found nothing, no bodies, no debris, no answer. The Aurora was towed to port, and examined down to her bilges, and gave up nothing more than she had already given. 7 men had eaten dinner, or begun to, and then left their warm food and their burning cigarettes and their running boat, all at once, without lowering a single lifeboat, and had never been seen again. The man who first boarded her lived a long time and rarely spoke of it, but near the end he told an interviewer the one detail that had never left him, the smallest thing, the thing underneath all the rest. It was not the empty boat or the warm food or the unfinished log. It was the coffee. He said he had stood in that galley, in the silence, looking at 7 cups of coffee still gently steaming, and he had understood, in a way he could not put into words, that whatever the men of the Aurora had gotten up to see, they had gotten up to see it together, all 7 at once, and that not one of them had thought, on the way out, to bring a coat against the cold, because not one of them had expected to be gone for very long.